Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the AI Symposium at UMass Boston. As the Executive Director of the Paul English Applied AI Institute, I'm thrilled to see such a strong turnout for today's event. So I'm going to invite Provost Berger to give opening remarks. I want to let you know, despite how busy he spent time to meet with our Student Advisory Council for so many times, meet with our faculty mentors, provide advice and guidance. So I wholeheartedly for his full support for the AI Institute. So here, Joseph, please.
Good morning. All right, D minus. Let's try that again. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, A, excellent. It's a thrill to be here this morning. I am so excited. I want to begin by just starting with some thanks, because an event like this doesn't happen without a lot of people putting a lot of work in. And I want to start by thanking Professor Wei Ding for her leadership with this. I also want to thank Paul English, who is one of our most distinguished alum, whose vision created this institute, and whose team, and I want to thank his team also, has been instrumental in supporting the work here. Paul is somebody who, puts into action what he believes, and his values guides his work, and it's been very inspirational for me and for so many of us as we really get the Paul English Applied Artificial Intelligence Institute up and running. So thank you so much, Paul. And then there are so many other staff members, from IT to university advancement to Sodexo and catering, event planning. These events don't happen without a lot of people working very hard in the background. So I also want to recognize and appreciate all of their contributions. Let's give them right. I'm also very grateful because so many of our faculty members from across the campus, from multiple departments, from all of our colleges and schools, have contributed to the hackathon and today's event, the panel that'll happen later on, the course that we're developing that you're going to hear more about later. So if all the faculty members who are contributing in various ways to the Paul English Applied Artificial Intelligence Institute, just stand up for a second, please. Please, stand up if you're here. Rosemary. Okay. Most importantly, the university, the reason we exist is for our students. And it's not just because we have a responsibility to educate our students, but the beautiful thing about UMass Boston is that we are such a diverse campus, and that means that we bring students from an incredible diverse array of backgrounds, origins, origin stories, the cultural and linguistic wealth, the life experiences that our students bring. So our students aren't just learning from their faculty members and with them, they're also learning with and from each other. So if I could have all of the students who have, on top of your busy lives and all of your other academic work, that you've taken time to participate in the hackathon, please stand up. And I wanted to start my remarks, expressing my gratitude, but recognizing the people engaged in this incredibly important endeavor, right? And over my career, I've come to more deeply appreciate, that the role of a university means that we celebrate, we help develop, we support, we challenge, we collaborate together as people. And a university It's not buildings and facilities, even though we have an increasingly beautiful campus here on Columbia Point. It's not curricula. It's not organizational charts. It is people. And the fact that we have brought students and faculty together here to learn, to advance new ideas, to transcend your areas of study, but to do so in ways that address very real, practical, ethical, and strategic opportunities to improve the world. The purpose of the hackathon isn't just to develop, new ideas and new apps and, think about how best to apply artificial intelligence. It's about how to help all of us challenge ourselves to learn new skills, new abilities. AI is becoming ubiquitous in our world. And we have a responsibility to embrace AI as an opportunity. It brings with it many challenges. And one of the things that I've been very inspired by as we've developed this institute is the idea that Paul first brought to us when thinking about how we could best advance the mission of UMass Boston in this day and age. And AI, there are other universities that are doing a better job than we do of building smarter, faster, better AI platforms, algorithms. However, we have the responsibility of democratizing AI, of making sure that as AI advances, that we're infusing it not just in our computer science department, not just for folks who are studying, right, and building AI, but for all of us to think about what are the responsible and ethical ways that we can use AI in all aspects of our lives. And so often when we have the kinds of technological innovation that is occurring at an unheard of pace in our society, historically, there have been digital divides that have been created. In UMass Boston, we have a unique responsibility to make sure that we do not contribute to the inequitable opportunities and outcomes that may, and in places will arise as AI changes the very fundamental nature of how we work and learn. So at UMass Boston, it is important that we tap into the amazing talent that we have in our students and our faculty and begin to build a platform that draws our entire community into the use of AI, that advances the use of AI in teaching, in learning, in career preparation, in not just learning while you are all students here, but throughout the rest of your life. This is the foundation that we are creating. And so today, we're going to get to see some examples of students and faculty who have come together from across the university in very rapidly, actually, over the last couple of months to do some amazing work. And we're going to get the benefit from seeing you display your talents. And we're going to do some judging, and we're going to give some awards. And we're going to have, different winners. But I actually want to say, this is one of the cases when it's absolutely true that everybody's a winner. Because we're all learning, and we're all benefiting from this experience and the work that you're doing. This is just the beginning of what we will be doing with the Institute. It is I would like this hackathon to be an annual event. And you're going to hear more later in the day about, again, some of the course opportunities that are coming, but also to hear from our faculty engage in discussions about how we can all contribute to a more equitable, a more applied, a more action-oriented application of AI in our work as learners, as educators, as citizens, and as leaders. So I'm excited about the day. I'm thrilled to be here. And let me tell you, I'm a little nervous because I'm one of the judges, and the other two judges, you know, with Professor Ding and Paul, are both world-class experts in this area. One of the things about being a provost is I get a great breadth of responsibility. I got to know a little bit about a lot. And so I have to sit here with the two of them. It's a pretty daunting experience, actually. So, but anyway, I'm honored and thrilled. It's going to be a great day. And with that, let's get the hackathon presentations going.
So may I ask the team lead of Care Plus and Early Intel, the students' team leads, could you come here on the stage? Okay. So I'm going to have a quick summarization of the hackathon. So please come here, stand with me. Okay. So this is truly a team event. So we have tremendous support from the University Advancement Department, Information Technology Department, Career Services Department, and particularly from Paul English technical team, okay? And then we started from scratch. The Student Advisory Council is the main driving force for the 6-month efforts. So we met weekly, more than one meeting every week. Students work very, very hard. And we designed many AI talks and provided by excellent professors, by students. And we have students do the demos, showcase. We have panels, collaborate with industrial collaborators. We have workshops. And we have our very first team channel. Okay, we have our social media channel, so students can have conversation groups. And before the hackathon, we had a warm-up event, AI context. And we have unprecedentedly, reactions from our students. All of our events are very popular. And then for today, we have the AI application hackathon. Then the goal is we want to achieve AI for all, this dream, okay? And then here I give you the word cloud of the project description and team names from our students. It represents what are the important things our students vision for the AI education, AI learning. So quite interesting word cloud. And also we have 16 submissions from our students across all the different colleges and schools. And when we first had the idea from Paul English about the hackathon, so our initial idea is we have one award under each college and school. Then after we have 16 submissions, we're thrilled to see we actually have all the teams are from different colleges and schools. We have interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary teams. And then this is exactly what we want to see because we want to see the whole university working as a family. People help each other, people support each other. And with that, we have 2 outstanding initial awards. Okay, come over here. So who wants to talk first briefly? Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone. Basically, Care Plus is an idea of a specific form that anyone can do at home, and basically with help of AI, it can tell the diagnosis that you have of a certain sickness that you may have, you may be feeling, and it gives you a series of steps that you have to take when going to a medical appointment. Basically, the importance of this project is that not everyone has the actual access or has the medical necessities and economic capabilities of paying a doctor, and in order of that, you have to be very careful on what exact appointments you do and what exactly are you guiding yourself into. And in this case, mainly for those people that are in less developed states, for example, that do not even have an access to healthcare, but do have an access to a phone, for them to be actual and be capable of seeing what diagnosis they may have and what if they have by any chance the chance to go to a doctor to follow a series of specific steps to be correctly diagnosed and be more efficient. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So Early Intel is really about putting you on the picture of early warning response. So we've heard about a lot of hate crimes happening all around the United States, but we get to hear about it after it has happened, or we get to be victims or survivors of this. However, what if it's possible for you to be able to be part of how to monitor this? Something is happening in your neighborhood and you're able to put in some data that will help security agencies to be able to know what is happening and come there and be able to prevent any form of hate crime happening, and be able to alert all the relevant security agencies and health services units that they need to access, that need to be on that side. So this is really what early intel is really about. We're securing communities with predictive early warning and rapid response, and we were doing this using machine learning, so that the machine learning will be doing this at the background for us. However, the community engagement piece of it, communities will be able to put information in, and community-based organizations will be able to put information in also. And I want to say that we are so happy that we got some support from the Department of Justice at this time, and collaboration from other I would say, networks that work on conflict transformation in actually the Boston area. So we're really excited about this project. I would like to talk to you more about it later. And please, this is a student-led initiative. So we want more students to join us. So thank you very much.
So Provost and Paul, could you grab these 2 certificates and come on the stage and give students the awards? Okay, thank you. Then where's the photograph? Okay, here. So.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Photo time.
Okay.
I want to take a picture. Join, you want to
We need
stand?
a photo?
Yes, please. Okay. Why don't you stand in the middle of the center? Yeah, it's distributed, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so out of the 16 teams, we have 4 finalists. So it's time for us to decide their final ranking. So let me explain this one more time. All of you here, you are going to decide the People's Choice Award. The online voting form will be available around 11:45. So Franny, the student advisory council member, will come here explain after the 4 teams presentation. Okay, so we're going to invite 4 teams on the stage one by one. So each team will present for 7 minutes. So then the 4 teams, so may I call out the 4 teams? You can stand up. So the first team, the Technovaders, could you stand up? Okay. Thank you. They're here to compete for their fame, okay? The second team, the Empathy Architects, could you stand up? The third team, Patient Proxy, could you stand up? Because they actually has a large team because several team members are working in the hospital today, so they cannot make it, okay? And then we have the AI and the mental health team. Could you stand up? Wonderful, okay. So I'm going to stop here. May I have because the 4 teams actually come here today, pick up their own number for the presentation sequence. So may I ask the first team come to the stage? 7 minutes. When it's about your time, I will come close to you, know it's your time, okay?
Good morning, everyone. We are the Empathy Architects.
My name is Michael Ratig. I am a PhD candidate in the sociology department.
My name is Aljanae Igaro. I am a psychology major.
My name is Emma Kelmanson. I'm a computer science major.
And I'm Jackson Camo. I'm an Asian Studies and Philosophy major.
So our real-world problem is about tackling healthcare disparities. The healthcare sector struggles to address social determinants of health, contributing to persistent healthcare disparities. Underserved communities often feel unsafe or misunderstood by their providers with healthcare providers. These challenges result in poor communication between healthcare providers and patients, resulting in mistrust, lack of communication gaps, and yeah.
To develop a solution to our problem, we followed a 3-phase AI-enhanced framework to manage the resource-intensive design process. In each phase, AI output was critically analyzed by team members. Using large language models to define our problem in phase 1, we moved on to phase 2, where we collaborated with AI to generate a gamified approach. And in phase 3, we continued our collaboration to test and implement features.
We want to help patients from underserved communities and languages that aren't as commonly known communicate with their medical care providers. We want to make sure that they're getting the best treatment by having an open relationship and the ability to share things that are actually real and relevant to them so that they can get accurate diagnoses and the medical providers and each person actually, understand each other.
So, our solution. Empathy Evolution is an AI-powered role-playing game that helps patients to simulate their ideal communication with providers. Patients role-play as the provider in empathetic scenarios. AI analyzes the interactions to generate the personalized communication tips and expectations for the patient and their provider. The solution enhances trust and empathy between patients from underserved communities and their providers. This solution improves healthcare outcomes.
So I'm going to demonstrate the UI and a basic walkthrough of the gameplay. The UI features a pastel background with fun AI art and simple elements for a broad user appeal. The gameplay allows users to navigate medical scenarios from a doctor's perspective while still being a patient. Each situation in this scenario begins with context about the decision the player is going to make. This one is about what kind of doctor the patient wants to be. Users select their preference, like choosing between a stern or talkative doctor for AI analysis about communication style to deliver to a doctor. A planned feature will allow for custom response for AI-generalized personalized situations.
And again, in phase 3, we used AI to help test and implement features, and we came up with these user experience features. Tracking time can help to reduce uncertainty and allow for mental preparation before first contact with the provider. Offering multiple language options is crucial to allow for equitable engagement and reduce misunderstandings. To help eliminate confusion, AI text can generate explanations of technical, cultural, and complex words.
We also wanted to focus on culturally relevant questions that the game could ask patients. We want to find data about their language limitations, skepticism in medicine, and other things that a provider may not ask. And a big goal of our program is to find a way to summarize this information so that the provider has a better understanding of the patient before they even interact with them. It can be pulled from multiple sources using AI. If they already have a patient profile, it could all work together seamlessly. And I wanted to point out that both me and Michael's programs were made using Claude specifically. So this was all AI generated. The value proposition, most AIs target clinical operations, more of a business approach. It's missing the piece of the provider and patient connection, which we feel is the most important part. And it also misses community engagement. If you're focused mostly on money, you're gonna miss the down-to-earth things that patients look for. So our game looks to eliminate provider biases and build more patient trust. And to do that, what better way than to get the info from the patient themselves? The impact, what we find is most AI creative problem-solving frameworks, like I said, focus mostly on a business aspect, but most of these teams, if they look at our solution, could build their own framework for a community that they serve. This could be generally for low-income communities, high-income communities, mixed communities. It allows more community trust, and the most important thing we want you to take away is that this builds trust between the patient and the doctor.
So both the framework we use to develop empathy architects and empathy evolution and empathy evolution itself have tremendous scalability potential. The AI-enhanced creative solving framework can tackle health disparities across diverse populations, is applicable to various real-world challenges not in the medical sector, and enables non-technical teams to innovate effectively. Empathy evolution can reach diverse underserved groups, can be available in any language, and can scale from small private clinics to large healthcare systems.
Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to listen. It was a pleasure working on this. A special thanks to the Paul English Applied AI Institute. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Meriç. Today we will talk about AI and mental health, and we will addressing the therapy gap. We will be talking about how AI can be used to solve a critical issue, which is shortage of mental health professionals globally. So in this non-technical project, we experimented with a couple of AI chatbots to develop a framework, and we get insights from UMass Boston white paper.
All right. As we know, there are rising rates of anxiety, depression, and loneliness among young people today. And at the same time, mental health care is often inaccessible due to stigma, cost, and provider shortages. If applied effectively, chatbots could bridge this gap, offering accessible, non-judgmental support and companionship.
Some cases for chatbots being used in mental health is they've been used a lot as virtual patients to help mimic the patient-therapist interaction, along with being used in diagnosis and treatment decision-making, specifically for patient self-reports, and they've been able to give feedback analysis that would be similar to that of a human psychiatrist.
AI chatbots are transforming therapy by working as assistants to therapists, managing tasks like intake, scheduling, and follow-ups to reduce workload. Platforms like TherapyMate, Voibot, and Visa operate at different levels, from assistive to fully autonomous AI. There are also autonomous chatbots like Voibot and Tess, which offer emotional support for issues like anxiety and depression. Combined with wearables, they track stress and mood in real time. In some cases, these chatbots are even greater diagnostic. These chatbots have shown greater diagnostic accuracy than doctors.
Hello again. The main concern right now is regulating AI in mental health. In 2023, the EU AI Act approved informed consent but bans manipulation Further, the FDA approved chatbots like Wiza and Wobot, but it's unregulated, and right now we don't have the large pool of training data that we need. Current sample sizes are small, and as you see here, data and privacy are also a concern. 2 out of 27 met Mozilla's standards, which is pretty bad.
So my name is Samatre. I am an IT and English major. So for my part of the experiment, I wanted to focus on comparing Alomia and ChatGPT to see how they respond to mental health related questions. And the overall conclusion I came to with both of them is that although they both did a very good job at reassuring and validating the concerns that I brought up to them, they did so in a very surface level way and almost repeating the same things that I had told them. But for Alomia specifically, some pros is that because it is a designated therapy chatbot, it did feel more like a therapy session with a back and forth flow conversation. And it also did ask if I wanted to do some breathing techniques with it, which I thought was very nice. But some cons and just overall ways I feel it could improve is that it did not offer as much emotional depth as one would need in a therapy session. And also it did have a lot of limited features, so you do have to pay to upgrade to get a more luxurious experience. And then with ChatGPT, some good things about it is that it did give a lot of in-depth responses, which is really good for individuals who like to do their own research and weigh out their pros and cons for solutions they're given. So this added a lot of versatility. But some cons that I did notice is that it did lack a lot of emotional empathy, especially with deeper emotional concerns. And also because it is not designated for mental health purposes, some privacy concerns can be accounted for.
Unfortunately, our teammate Luxman Sorrentha could not be here today. I'll be introducing his slides for him. He was a philosophy and psychology major here at UMB. He did experiments role-playing with Alomia and ChatGPT as psychologists and patients. Different conversation styles that he noticed were Alomia is very curious and conversational, and it has more of a dialogue tone, while ChatGPT is very solution-focused and structured. If you notice, if you use it, it's very much into bullet points, and it persisted here. He also noticed unclear inputs. Alomia seeks clarification a lot. It'll ask you to follow up. It explores coping mechanisms, while ChatGPT always maintains a constant flow, and it also has memory retention. Resource provision. Alomia's simple, common sense advice. It's very straightforward. It gives you easy to understand language, while ChatGPT expands. It gets very broad. It can get convoluted, but it can target you with links and very specific resources if you ask for it. Ethical considerations he considered. ChatGPT often got him policy violation warnings, so some of his experiments got cut pretty short, and Alomia actually would reach out to the patient and say, are you in trouble? Do you want resources? Do you think you need help? So his key takeaway were both platforms have distinct approaches to mental health support with different strengths in conversation, resource prevention, and crisis management.
So my experiment focuses on building AI-human relationships and therapy, with an emphasis on ChatGPT's voice mode. Tools like ChatGPT can use past interactions to create personalized and emotionally relevant experiences, functioning as a mentor, friend, or even a parental figure. This new voice mode allows for real-time natural conversations, enhancing emotional engagement by simulating human-like interactions. AI's potential goes beyond text-based support. In the future, AI could incorporate facial recognition technology to detect emotions such as sadness or joy and respond accordingly. This would enable more context-aware support and make interactions feel more authentic. Imagine AI-generated video avatars, mimicking facial expressions, strengthening the therapeutic connection. These advancements help bridge the gap between digital tools and human relationships, making users feel truly seen and understood.
The next step is experimenting on language barriers and cultural sensitivity. We experimented with several chatbots again. We used, we identify AI therapy chatbot limitations in English, non-English languages because they trained on English most of the time. So they give repetitive responses, overly basic suggestions, and they lack of depth in addressing cultural, emotional, and psychological challenges. So here's a 10-second video.
Okay, please use speak in Turkish, please.
Yeah. Okay, then.
Ben Amerika'da doktor öğrencisiyim ve göçmenim. Bazen ailemi ve kültürümü özlüyorum. Yalnız hissetmemek için neler yapmalıyım?
So this was a experimentation with my own language, and we just tested the output if we can see a different result. Okay.
I'm just going to wrap up really quick now that we're running out of some time here. But just with some future philosophical considerations, I'm going to leave you with a couple questions. One, is it psychologically healthy to form a relationship with an AI chatbot? And two, can the traditional sense of the therapeutic alliance be formed with a chatbot? Just some things to think about. And thank you very much.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'd like to introduce our project Beacon Pathway. My name is Michael, and I was the project lead and UX designer.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ciara, and I was the UX researcher for this project.
Hi, I'm David. I was one of the software developers / web developers for the project.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I was an ideation specialist for the project.
Hi, I'm Mustafa. I was one of the web developers for this project.
Okay, so I have a question for everyone here in the audience. In any part of your academic journey, have you ever felt lost or felt like you might need more guidance? Yeah, well, my friend here, Ciara, has, and she explored the idea of this question in an article she wrote last semester, which was the inspiration for our project Beacon Pathway. After we conducted research, a problem within the university became more clear to us. There are students from different backgrounds that need help finding resources that can best support their career aspirations. So the solution is our user-centered platform, Beacon Pathway, which will make it so students have an easier time finding those resources.
There were 3 important ways in which we conducted research. The first one was interviews. So we conducted 5 in-depth interviews in order to gain an understanding of pain points faced by other students. The second was surveys. We received 17 responses, and it gave us incredible insights on the pain points and opinions on our app's features. And the third was a competitive audit. So we audited Handshake, LinkedIn, and UMB Involved to understand weaknesses we want to correct and strengthen.
So we used that research developer app features. We created recommendation engine that presents opportunities for you based off of your major and professional interest. Then we created a community page that would link to all UMB clubs so students could find their like-minded peers and people that had similar interests. a schedule builder that would scan degree audits and give back some potential courses for the following semester. And for those 3 features, we have some data from our student survey, and a majority of students responded positively to the features as something that would actually benefit them in their academic and professional journeys. And lastly, we developed an AI chatbot to help answer questions students may have about their degree or to help students find professional or academic resources on campus.
I'll be showcasing the initial development of our web beacon pathway application. The users can start up by signing up using their UMass Boston credentials. The user information will be saved in the database, and then the user will be redirected to take a quiz where they'll be answering questions about the about their majors and their career aspirations. Then they can either retake the quiz, or they can head over to the opportunities page where they will be given specialized resources based on the answers they gave in the quiz. Next, we have the Beacon community section where they can have the AI system will recommend them different clubs, and they can have a look at all the different UMass Boston clubs. Next, we have the schedule builder feature where the users can upload their degree audit and get a list of recommended courses for the next semester. Lastly, we have the Beacon AI bot, which is capable of answering various questions about the different resources and departments available on campus. That's it.
So Beacon Pathways is currently just a minimum viable product, but we do have many plans to improve the application in the future, one of which is implementing dynamic questioning on our quiz feature that will adapt our questions based on user inputs and help us better cater to individual user resources. We also want to strengthen our BeaconBot AI capabilities by adding short-term memory to retain context in conversations, and also train it on other large language models to better understand user queries and get more accurate answers. We also are going to continue to build out the functionality of features. For example, the schedule building feature, we will plan to use AI to build out a database of all available courses along with any relevant information regarding those courses. And we can also use AI to scan over degree audits and build personalized schedules for each semester or even full degree plans. Of course, as we get ready for users to actually use the application, there are many ethical considerations that we need to consider. First, we want to be more transparent about how our data is being used. We want to make sure users know what data is being collected, how that data is being used, and also allow them to delete any data that was stored. Also, security is going to be an imperative. We want to make sure that we comply with the IT security requirements and also make sure that our website is secure from any nefarious actors. We used AI for this project in multiple different ways. In the spirit of the hackathon, we tried out a new tool, which was an AI wireframe generation plugin. Didn't really like it, but we tried it. And then we used LLMs such as ChatGPT and Copilot for compiling research, organizing research, especially with the competitive audit, using it to go from Figma to front-end web development helped us speed up that process. Same thing with database development to compile our database and move it to actually be implemented on the app. And then in the future, we plan to use AI to enhance and build out our features. For example, as mentioned, the schedule building feature and strengthening the AI bot capabilities. If anybody is interested, this is our full presentation where we go more in depth into how we actually made our Beacon Pathway project.
Yeah, that's all we have prepared. We wanted to say thank you to our faculty mentor, Dr. Potasnik. We want to thank our users, research participants, and thank you to the Paul English Applied AI Institute for making this event possible. Thank you.
right, last one, best one. Okay, let's get started here. Good afternoon. My name is Patrick Finger. I'm joined here with Hannah, Ayaz, and Maresh. We're nursing school students here at UMass Boston. And Ayaz and Maresh are computer geniuses here at UMass Boston. And we're going to present to you our patient interaction using a large language module called ChatGPT. Hannah?
Where is
We're trying to locate our presentation.
Yeah, found it.
Found it?
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Finally.
All right, sorry about that. Let's continue.
Okay, so in nursing school, nursing students are completing clinical hours under the supervision of instructors, and we are learning how to have conversations with patients. However, we often run into not being able to get feedback from those patients right away with how our conversations are and how we could improve in those conversations. So we wanted to somehow create a real-life, realistic way to receive feedback and practice those conversations with patients so we were more prepared in the clinical setting.
So we came up with a solution in order to, as we all know that we have general purpose AI chatbots, like we all know the very famous ChatGPT, we have Google, Gemini, and etc. But in order to help the healthcare professionals improve their communication skills, we do not have a streamlined chatbot that would serve a purpose of being a patient to them, just the sole purpose of being a patient to them. And so we came up with an idea to develop a chatbot called Patient Proxy Chatbot. Our initial idea was to, collect a data set from the very talented medical professionals, where they'll be giving us the data set, which will be a questionnaire mostly, and to create our own large language model. But due to the time constraint and lack of resource, we finally ended up using the already existing GPT-2 and the Diallo GPT, which is of the Microsoft, in order to be able to. So basically, at first we used the ChatGPT and Gemini in order to understand the type of responses they are giving, and this is what we came up with. And yeah, this is a video of our problem statement and the solution which we're explaining, but it's a 15-minute long video. So you can go and watch it afterwards, if you're interested.
Yeah, to elaborate on that, I wish that we could present that here. We just don't have enough time, but it's very informative, and what we found was very favorable to what we're trying to propose. The ChatGPT has been really easy to use for us. We were able to modify the patient's diagnosis without changing the prompt at all. We were able to make edits. ChatGPT is generally reliable when it gave us feedback and responses, especially based off of patients' medication dosages, lab values, and their interactions based off of their personalities that we asked the prompt. So including with all of that, ChatGPT was very easy to format information. For example, I asked for blood lab results to be formed in table format, just like how it would be realistically in a patient's record, and I thought that was amazing on that part. So we move on.
So through using ChatGPT, we did run into some problems that we believe that we could make better with a new large language model. Sometimes there were inaccurate values, so we would just, of course, want to make sure that when nursing students are using such tool as this through nursing school, everything would be completely accurate. We also want to make sure there are some safeguards in place against inappropriate topics, so the AI doesn't veer off into some crazy scenario that nursing students just simply are not prepared for, or even nursing students maybe in their first semester versus nursing students in their last semester would just not be ready for certain conversations. We also notice a realism of patient responses just did not always seem to feel super genuine, so we just wanted to make those feel more real and like they would in the real setting.
This is state-of-the-art technology, honestly speaking. Here in the CCER, we have simulation labs. These mannequins are state-of-the-art, and they change their vital signs, their blood pressure, heart rate. You could feel a pulse. Sometimes they blink at you in random times. So amazing stuff. But what we don't have is a model that could interact with us in realistic ways. So what we're trying to do here, and our goal is to develop a technology that we could reinforce simulation mannequins with the capability of talking back with us and communicating with us just like how a real patient would. And overall, that enhances the realism of our simulation practices, and then over time, it could strengthen the nursing students and feel more confident with patient care.
Due to limited time, we have to cut this presentation slightly short, but we do have the rest of this presentation available for anybody who would like to look at it, as well as a model that IAS has already began to create. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
So several announcements. So the lunch buffet is open because we have a very tight schedule for today. We're not going to have a lunch break. So you're going to eat lunch while listening to the Q&A from the Paul and then our Provost Berger to ask questions. Okay. So I would like to ask all the teams, 4 teams, come back on the stage. And when Paul and our Provost ask you questions, please use this microphone in turn, okay, to answer questions. I'm going to ask the Student Advisory Council member, Franny, come here to explain the online voting. Oh, it's behind me? Okay.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. So in order for us to, in order for us to select your favorite teams, that's why we create a Microsoft form where you can scan on this small sheet on your table. You can have it. It's right here. It's just the smaller one on your table. You can scan right now, and probably will be able to, for everyone to see the response. I will show you quickly how it's gonna look like. Here's a preview. On the top, you have each teams that was presenting over here with their descriptions. And what we're looking for is that you go here in the question and select your most favorite teams from this. And thank you guys for doing this presentation. You do a great job, and hopefully, we can continue to do this more even for the next semester. I'm hoping for that. After that, then I'm gonna show the result when the questions are over. And for the moment, right now, I'm gonna share with you the QR code if you don't have it on your table. It's gonna be right here. Let me see. And this is the QR code for everyone to scan. Now, feel free to ask as many questions as you want, and please, team, good luck for that. Thank you.
Okay. Now, Paul and Provost Berger, you can use the microphone in front of you, and then please go ahead, ask 4 teams questions to clarify any doubts, okay, any concern you have for each team. Go ahead.
Thank you, teams. This is very difficult to judge. I was really impressed with all 4 teams. One thing I'd like to know generally is how many of you have prototypes that I can actually test? Maybe if someone could publish the links to that so we can actually play with the work that you've created, that would be really helpful. I have, let me see, do you want to start with a question for one of the teams and we can take turns?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'd like to, for the empathy architects, it'd be helpful for me if you could describe a little bit more about how a patient describe how a patient would actually use it, and then how a care provider would actually use it.
To let the audience know which team you're from, announce your team name first, then answer questions. Okay,
Yes.
go ahead.
So I'm Michael from the Empathy Architects. Great question. Thank you very much for asking that. So really the premise here is role taking, right? So the patient may not have the most experience with interacting with a doctor. We have some ideas of what a doctor is, and obviously the amount of interaction we've had previously, the amount of exposure differs from person to person, but we're really focused on first contact, first time meeting your provider. So by taking on the role of the provider in this role play, right, you're going to get an idea of what kind of questions to ask and what kind of answers to give. And we're using the LLMs to help generate those different scenarios. So it can be like a storyline, or maybe you're talking about one situation and you're like, okay, I've had enough of this. You can move on to another situation. The outcome, those interactions are analyzed and they generate some kind of report, right? And that report is given to the provider to look over, and it's just key information. This person doesn't want any tactile touches in an empathetic situation. Those kinds of communications. Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I have a question for the AI mental health team. So one, I want to know how you chose the two systems that I guess I have two questions. One, how you chose the two systems that you analyzed, Lumia and GPT. And then also, if you were to take this, work on this for the next year, what's the thing that you would develop, and how does that relate to Lumia and GPT?
So we are patient proxy, and my name is Ayaz. So the question you asked is, how did I choose the two models, which we have used, the LLMs? It was basically a research which we did on LLMs, and we came across GPT-2 and the dialogue GPT, which were the easiest of all to be used. And the sole purpose of using two different LLMs was to analyze the difference in response we are getting from the models. And if we are going to develop it for the next year, then the main thing we'll be focusing on is to develop our own LLM, the large language model, using, we are going to create our own data set, and using that data set, we'll be developing our own, LLM using the cloud ML or any other technology. We are currently focusing on researching more about it, and due to lack of time constraint, we are not able to deep dive much into it, and also lack of manpower, since we had to also develop the prototype for it. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So for the beacon pathways, I'd be interested to know, like, in terms of, you talked a little bit about sort of the inputs, right, where you were getting the information from. Do you have any plans or mechanisms by which, as students use it, give it feedback, that the program can sort of learn and expand beyond what it's already been initially sort of programmed to tap into, so that, and particularly for perhaps for different types of students, how it can be increasingly responsive to different types of interests and needs?
Yes, absolutely we do. My name's Olivia, and our team name is the Technovators. So currently, our prototype is very surface level, but there's different ways that we do want to make it more catered to individualized needs. One of those was implementing the dynamic questioning. So our quiz feature is going to be built out a lot more so that we have specific questions for each kind of specific user type. And using the dynamic questioning, the questions will adapt as the users are going through the quiz, so that in the end we will have a much more like precisely compiled resource set for our user type. And then we're also going to be using AI to build out our own databases that we'll be pulling from for this app. So one of those is going to be a database for like the course listings and whatnot. In that we will kind of train it on degree paths, like suggested degree audits and whatnot for that the university gives. And then of course, we'll train it and say, you know, this type of user, computer science, which was for our example, you know, they're going to want to be directed towards the Paul English Institute. They're going to be directed towards these hackathons or these specific clubs. And so, yeah, all of that will be implemented kind of back end with the databases that we build out as we develop the app more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll also say excellent presentation by Technovators. You guys are just fantastic how you put the presentation together. I would like to see Technovators come up with a plan for going across multiple schools, so not just UMass Boston, but what are the next schools you go after? And I would start in Boston, so pick some other schools nearby that you could meet with students. I love the course selection. Next question is for patient proxy. I want to know more about your thoughts on mannequins, and then what would be the next version of the software you would build? Like if you were to work on this for, let's say, another 6 months, what would you want to get done in the next 6 months?
Sure. My name is Hannah. Our team is Patient Proxy. So in terms of the mannequins, we already have mannequins in the CCER that nursing students use to practice. So we're not practicing on real people, and we can make mistakes in a safe place. We would like to move those mannequins to the next place with technology and be able to have those conversations with a mannequin back and forth that just feels so real and so genuine. Right now, you know, when we are in the CCER during simulations, they can kind of just feel fake. We know they're like cheesy, things like that. So we just want it to feel so real, so genuine, just like these conversations we had with ChatGPT really did feel, but just even better than what ChatGPT kind of was able to give us. And then within the next 6 months, we would really just like to perfect that large language model that IS was working on and get it to a place where a student can just talk and have a back and forth flowing conversation with a mannequin in those simulations that we have as nursing students to make us better nurses in the field.
Have you spoken to the partner who makes the mannequins already about collaborating with them on this?
No, we have not yet, but that's definitely something we'd be interested in doing.
Okay, cool.
Actually, just to follow up on that also, because in addition to the mannequins, you know, I'm not sure, you're probably aware that we're constructing right now a digital simulation lab. I was wondering if you had any conversations about how this can not only help the students, but actually help lesson planning and curricular development in terms of the types of scenarios and simulations that get set up for students in working in both with not just with mannequins, but also in digital simulation and also actually with real patients. So what kind of feedback then could go back to the faculty and the staff that staff those labs?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's like the whole idea behind this, right, is to help not only the nursing student, but also the professors and the simulation educators create better scenarios for us, be able to provide us with immediate feedback, and exactly what you said, just give us better case studies and all of those things that ChatGPT or large language models are kind of able to do in the snap of a finger. It would just be amazing to have all of that. It not only helps the nursing students, but also the educators and, you know, further into the hospitals themselves.
Thank you.
Some more questions? Yeah, okay. I guess for empathy architects, so you talked about simulating conversation both for training patients how to deal with doctors, but also giving feedback on doctors. Do you see this software as being tailored for each role in a medical facility, like have one for doctors, one for nurses, and so forth? Like, do you see, is the plan to personalize this so it will be training for each role?
Announce your team name one more time.
I'm Jackson from the Empathy Architects. Yeah, our idea was that the patient side would be more of a game. And the initial idea was more of like, if you're sitting waiting for the doctor and you've already filled out all your forms, typically there's a long wait time. So you could play this game and that processes more information for the provider in the background. And then on the separate side, for the doctor, once you complete whatever you want to complete of our survey of our game, that'll be synthesized by another language model, and that'll feed right into whatever, like if they use a computer or a phone, they can get that information right away as soon as it's done because AI can synthesize that immediately. And even before they meet, they will have this information ready to go. So there is no wait time of like, oh, I've never met this doctor before. I don't know what they think of me. The doctor doesn't know what to think of the patient. You already have an established idea of what the patient wants, and then the patient will already have an idea of what they expect from the doctor.
That sounds great.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No.
So do we have more questions from the judges? No, we're all set?
No more
Okay,
questions.
Franny, could you come back here?
All right, so the moment of truth has come, and let's go and see who was the first place. Let's go. Let's see. Let me see. Oh, okay. So we have right here, with 41%, the Text Novator. They are the first place on these 4 teams. Congratulations, teams, congratulations. And 34%, we have the Empathy Architects. Congratulations, congratulations. And with 17, we have the Passion Process after the third team. Yeah, good job, good job. And then we have the AM Mental Health for the fourth place. Congratulations, everyone. I believe all of you did a great job. And let's hope that for the next, semester we can do many more. And, we can do better innovations for the whole UMass community. Thank you so much.
Thank you for voting for us for the People's Choice Award. Thank you.
Good job, guys.
This is the moment everybody has been waiting for, okay?
Right, we should have had a drum roll, right? I said at the beginning that this was daunting and difficult, because of my fellow judges. Then once I saw the presentations, it became even more daunting and difficult. So great job, everyone. All right, so I'm excited to announce that the honorable mention with a $500 award goes to the AI and mental health team. Congratulations. Oh, we're going to take a photo. Okay. Poor Paul didn't get
Photos.
You're our leader. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Now you can grab your lunch.
And third place, with a prize of $1,000, goes to the Empathy Architects. All right, let's see. Jackson, another
Thank
one for
you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done. All right. Now we get to
Take photos.
again. All right, the suspense down to the final two. And second place, with a prize of $2,000, goes to Patient Proxy.
Thank you.
All right, picture time. And now we are left with the winners on center stage. The Technovators. Congratulations.